So even though nothing is found, the prosecution still comes to trial and is like, no, she strangled him. And they point to a good reason for how this might have been missed during the autopsy.
Okay.
Now, if someone is strangled to death, there's typically markings or bruises around the victim's neck to indicate such trauma, unless that person is already unconscious. According to the prosecution on Jade's case, when someone is already sedated, it requires very little force on the attacker's part to keep someone from breathing. Only about 4 pounds of pressure, which is about as much as a handshake. Hardly enough to leave a bruise or break any cartilage in the neck, because no one's fighting you, right? But there's another thing that could explain the lack of bruising. Jade might have just used a plastic bag to suffocate Tom to death. In fact, detectives found a bag in Jade's car that had her DNA on the outside and Tom's DNA on the inside.
Okay.
So they have a possible murder weapon. They also discovered that Jade's DNA was all over that pack of Ambien, while they found very little DNA belonging to Tom on it. So suddenly, when the prosecution comes forward at trial, it's all of a sudden turned around. It's not looking so good for Jade.
Confusing.
But it gets even worse when the prosecution presents one giant piece of evidence. This is like their bombshell at trial.
Yeah.
And it's some very damning text messages. So I've brought up this Alan Roach character a few times. Remember, he's the security guard who Jade reached out asking for protection against Tom. Well, it turns out Alan is a little bit more than a security guard. He advertised himself as a sort of fixer, or at least that's how Jade interpreted it.